All right. Welcome. Let's do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and play, and then we'll take it from there. So Auntie Ngozi was on what's her name? Biola Adebayo's channel, and she was saying some things about her relationship, and I thought we could just extract some lessons from that. Maybe we could be quick about it today and just leave and go spend some time with your family and friends. Let's get into it. She finally got married. He passed away. So who is she? Who is Auntie Ngozi? She's a Nigerian actress. She's a veteran Nigerian actress and producer. She acted a lot. She's Igbo, but a lot of people did not know she was Igbo for the longest because her Yoruba is about 10,000 times better than mine. She was a living in bondage, for those of you that knows Nollywood movie from way back in the days. But she's originally a Igbo lady from Abia State. So she was just telling her story. But as usual, I'm interested in the marriage aspect of things, her romantic life. And usually when people are of age, she's 61. A woman of a certain age, she can always share some kind of wisdom in one shape, form, or the other. And that's why I wanted to extract this and let's see if we can learn one or two things from it. So she had already talked about a previous marriage, I think. Somebody that she was supposed to be married to, but eventually didn't work out because she chose a career over marriage. But she said eventually she got married, and that's what she's talking about. So let's get into it. So note that she left. Okay, so at first she said infidelity, but then she's saying she didn't leave because of infidelities. Let's hear the details. So she didn't leave because of the job. It was because of infidelity. But it looks like she changed her mind. Welcome, Natu. So is it true the older ladies would, a lot of them, the more traditional one will say you can't leave just because somebody is cheating? That's not enough reasons to leave your husband. We know that's kind of true. There's a lot of people that will advise you along those lines. But let's see what she has to say more about that, because she's 61, so she's coming from almost our parents' era, almost. Some of you probably have parents around that age, Facts. It's individual. So if you remember, once upon a time we were having conversation around infidelity and stuff, and somebody said always ask why. Why is it that they're cheating? And then another people, like half and half, 50% say always ask. 50% say there should be no reason. If you want to cheat, just leave. Now obviously the argument is happening because that's not the reality. Oftentimes that conversation is a lot more complicated than that. But she falls in the category of people that will say, hey, why? What is it that the other person is offering that she can't offer? She's talking about actual marriage to someone right now, and she eventually left. Okay, let's keep going. But she said it wasn't just infidelity. I think she said that already. Maybe not yet. Let's keep going. If at all you're doing it, be discreet about it. So the main reason why she left, people always want to talk about deal breakers being cheating. Cheating is really no one's deal breaker. Let's be honest with ourselves. Oh, it's my deal breaker. Yeah, whatever. It's not anybody's deal breaker. It's usually, there's really not one thing that's anybody's deal breaker. It's usually a sequence of maybe. Now, if the same behavior, it could be cheating, but it might have been repetitive in nature. Maybe a serial cheater or somebody like that. Somebody that can't change. Maybe somebody who drinks a lot and they couldn't change. It could be something like that as well, But it's usually not a one-time event thing, and it's usually not a one thing. If it's a one thing and it ended up because it was done repeatedly, right? So it's usually, let me say it like this, it's never really a one-time event. Usually before somebody says they're leaving, it's a repetitive situation over and over, bickering back and forth. But for her now, she's mentioned two things. And it sounds like it's a repetitive, that the battery thing was a major thing. When it comes to battery, it should really not be more than once. But again, like I know human beings, they will say, hey, maybe it will change, right? I understand. But honestly, somebody laying hands on you, it's not stuff you're supposed to give extra chances to. Just be careful out there when you're, it's okay to leave. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. but you cannot incentivize bad behavior, such a dangerous behavior, by demonstrating that it's okay for them to do that. Okay, we're not talking about you think it's okay or you say it's okay, but you're demonstrating that it's okay to do that when you stay. At least leave, make sure it's addressed before you continue any kind of relationship with that person. Let's keep going. So, can some people change? Yes, some people can change, but that's not enough reasons for you to stay when somebody can lift their hands. Again, remember, leaving does not have to be a permanent decision, but you need to leave first. Okay? Can people change even if you don't leave first? Yes. What are the chances? The chances, I don't know. It's a terrible chance to take. Okay? Because again, for a fact, you are incentivizing bad behavior. What they need to get is the gift of missing you at least. Minimum. They need to know that you will not tolerate that. So it's a terrible idea. So I don't even think it's relevant if they can change or not, right? You put you're in harm's way. What does it matter if they can change or not, right? And that person has already laid their hands on you. Like it's not a question that should really be coming up. Can they change? Yeah. Is it relevant? Not really. They've already done what they did, and you need to demonstrate that it's not okay. Okay, so even if you're going to go to it, they're going to go get help or do some work or some healing or something like that, but you need to leave first. You need to showcase the simple fact that you will not tolerate that you value your own life. So let's address that properly, okay? Is infidelity enough to let go of your man? Yes. A one-time infidelity event? No, it's not for most human beings. Okay, if anything, it will be painful. They will be confused. They won't know what to do, right? They will lose trust. They will start looking over their shoulders. They will be afraid. They will always wonder. Basically, the quality of their life will be lowered. Okay, but that they can just decide and be out, not physically. Usually people will stay and just be very, very sad about that kind of situation. Now, serial infidelity, is it enough? Yes, at some point something will break, so yes, infidelity can do it, absolutely. But she's speaking to her experience. What she's talking about is her experience. It took infidelity and battery for her to decide that she deserved better. I actually feel like she's sugarcoating it. It probably was worse than that. They will never stop. So you know how people say, what were you looking at? Did you not see this up front? Like, yeah, you saw it, but sometimes you see things that you don't know exactly how to comprehend, right? And obviously people also change and evolve over time, right? People also, they change and evolve over time. So it's not always as simple as they just, it's not always that simple. You might see something is off, like that there's certain behaviors that you can tolerate, but with time, maybe it will show more of his face. But also, what also tends to happen with time is that your vested interest in that relationship also tends to increase, maybe in the form of you're having children with this person, and ideally you want to keep the family together, right? It just makes sense. So I understand it. So your vested interest is increasing, but on the other end, they're revealing more of who they are, especially if you're incentivizing bad behavior with your presence, right? So that's why it gets worse and worse and worse, and that's why you see a lot of people with this experience say, hey, don't pack anything, just be out as soon as possible. Well, what about my family? We'll worry about that one later. If they can lift their hands, okay, if they can strike you with a slap or anything crazy like that, they probably don't want to do that. They are blacking out. You don't want to wait much longer than that moment. You don't want to say, hey, it's not his fault, he just blacked out. No, you don't want to give excuses to yourself or the person. You need to do yourselves a favor and separate as soon as possible. So this guy did it 2 days before the wedding. She called off the wedding. Betty, Jesus Christ, she was pregnant 2 days before wedding. That's terrible. That is terrible. So they were more concerned about the wedding than her well-being. I'm not judging them, but that's sad. That's sad. A lot of our culture, that's basically what they tend to do. What is it going to look like? What will people say? Sad. It was just 2 years. Can you imagine? Oh Lord. Just 2 years. Let's see. 2 years married. They were, I don't know. 2 years married. They didn't even start the marriage at all. Because marriage is everything to Nigerians. Right? Marriage is everything. When I say marriage, I don't mean the actual marriage. Wedding. When Nigerians say marriage, they mean wedding. We can't hear the conversation. You can't hear the conversation? Are you serious? Let me see.
And I felt, okay, that won't happen again. But it did happen again and again and again and again. So when I couldn't stand it anymore, I had to run for my dear life.
Let's keep going.
If you were not saying it at that time, you said this is the first time you were saying it.
Yes.
You are saying it.
Because
thank you, Ify. I appreciate you, Ify. Thank you so much.
What were you telling them?
I just told them that it was a marriage. It was nice while it lasted, but it didn't work out.
So let me bring you up to speed, just in case you missed that. She's talking about her marriage to a gentleman, the only marriage she had. And she was married to this person for 2 years. And she said 2 days. She said it ended because of infidelity, but more importantly, because of battery. So the guy was laying hands on her. And then she also said, it's been, she asked her, did you not see this up front? She said, well, I saw it 2 days before the wedding. He actually beat the nonsense out of her. And she wanted to quit, but her sister was begging her to stay. I found like don't disgrace us, all those kind of things, So you heard my in-betweens, but you probably didn't hear the video, but that's the gist up to now.
That was all.
Because I didn't want to talk about my private life in the public. I don't know, this your Gen Z people these days, if one leg break, they will go to social media. If their husband stops kissing them, they will give it to social. No. My life remains private. My private life remains private. So that's why I'd never talked about it, if not for this show.
Thank you for letting it out. At least some of us have learned something, that if it starts eating you, especially from the courtship, you know where you're going to. You have seen the signs, the red flags are there already. So if you go in, you are the one going in.
Bam.
So personally,
if somebody can have no self-control before you got married to them, what do you think is going to happen? Because they're going to be put in more position where they're going to be triggered a lot inside of the marriage. The triggers are going to be a lot more before it gets better. This is for every marriage. So what do you expect is going to happen? So there's no way to sugarcoat it. If they're already showing signs before you get married, it's better you put a pause on everything. They need to sort themselves out first. You need to sort yourself out first, because there's something about you that attracted that person as well. You need to sort yourself out first. You don't have to just say, it's not you, it's me. I need to sort myself out first before we move forward, right? Because it's only going to get worse. So the marriage lasted 2 years. I'm surprised it lasted 2 years. Well, back then it might have lasted a lifetime. Some people will say in such marriages for a lifetime and get battered over and over too. It's sad, but it happens, So I definitely want to use this opportunity to remind you guys, right, that Because after she quit the marriage, she not survive. She survived, and she's a person that's been celebrated till today. You're better off making sure that you're good first. If you're not going to be okay, nothing else is going to be good. Your kids are not going to be okay. That man is not going to be okay. And then there's this one last lesson that I want to give to you, because I want to round up right now. I'm not feeling too good, so I want to round up so I can go take care of some other stuff in a more quiet zone. People don't change their behavior just because. It doesn't exist. Okay? People change their behavior only because of two things. They're either gravitating away from pain or towards pleasure. Okay? People only change their behavior because they are gravitating away from pain or towards pleasure. Those are the only two reasons why people change their behavior. Okay? Now, pain and pleasure can be at emotional level, right? Some people, there's certain emotions that get provoked in them and it makes them feel a sense of pleasure. And then there's certain emotions that are provoked in people that will feel painful. And then also when it comes to pain, pain has grades. People will avoid a bigger pain and they will choose a smaller pain. Okay? So it's almost like it's a spectrum too. Why am I saying that to you? If somebody performs a bad behavior, right, in your relationship, and you're just sitting down there and you're like, okay, they will change. No, they might not change because there's no incentive to change. There's no pleasure in the direction of changing, right? So when I say pleasure, do they really want to beat you? No, they don't. But there's something they're doing. There's something getting provoked in them, and maybe it's anger or something like that. And since you're going to be incentivizing that bad behavior, you're not demonstrating that it is not okay. Then they might continue. The fact that they might continue that behavior is already dangerous enough for you. Just leave. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. Okay? And by the way, marriage and wedding are not the same thing. Most people do prepare more for the wedding than they prepare for the marriage. Most people are more educated on weddings than they are educated on marriage. And when I say most people, most of these people are marriage minded. They want to be inside of marriage, or they're already inside of marriage. They have never educated themselves outside of maybe premarital counseling or some kind of counseling in church, right? And then they're kind of like, they want to magically create good marriages. Yeah. You guys have your answers on that. It's not going to work. That's why you see that there's problems everywhere. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. This is a good lesson here. She left because of battery and infidelity. Number one, people just don't leave because of one-time events. It's just don't. It will never be made. Stop. Relax. Okay? It's going to be you, because you're going to have vested interest why you should stay. You will convince yourself to stay. You might have real reasons to stay. Sometimes it's your kids, right? So if you're going to stay anyway, don't you think you should learn how to do it properly? I think you should learn how to do it properly. Okay? I think you should learn how to do it properly. So I want to say a quick shout out to this young lady, Abiola. I'm using her video within the fair use guidelines, but I just saw an opportunity to extract this lesson. Is infidelity enough to destroy a marriage? Yes. Okay. One-time event? Usually not. Okay. One-time event is enough to destroy all the trust in the marriage. Yes. In terms of the trust, it is enough to destroy all the trust in the marriage. But that's all I have for you. Hit the like button. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go find some other things to do that's more relaxing, and then take it from there. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. I'll be back here at 5 p.m. tomorrow. 5 p.m. We do 5 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, 5 to 7. But today I'm taking off a little bit earlier. I'm not feeling well, but I also need to take care of something that I can take care of in a more quiet zone. All right. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one, and peace. We offer evidence-based relationship and marriage resources and coaching to help you navigate the difficult times.
Don't just wing it. Learn the principles that work.
Download our 2 free books and book your complimentary coaching session now at manofprestige.com.